Hello there. Today, I'd like to showcase to you my high float collection. I paid far too much for all these items, and I have absolutely no idea why I did it other than they look so good to me. Now, that could be very interesting or weird to you because high float items look horrid or horrendous, but to me, they look splendid and delicious. I don't know any other way to describe it to you other than it's just perfect looking to me. I just enjoy the wear, how it breaks down the skin or changes the color. It just looks so sublime. Further ado, let's get right into it. We are rocking the Moto Gloves Smokeout with a float of 0.070. It is a very clean pair of Moto Gloves. We are rocking it with the Karambit Black Lamb. It is the number 2 highest float with a float of 0.9999200. Now, this combo in particular has taken me a long time to understand and appreciate fully. And the reason why I enjoy it so much is because of the white sleeves with the white knuckles matched with the black knife and the black gloves. For me, this is really the best that I can get for my T side. I'm very satisfied with the combo and how the gloves match up with the Karambit. Let's start with the Glock High Beam. This is pattern 511. I happen to really like the colors on it. I think that the way that they took those blues and slapped it on that Glock, it looks so good, man. And you put some Eternal Fires on there from Antwerp. Woo, baby. You start firing that away. Oh, man, this Glock goes so hard. All right, let's go and get the next one. P250 Vergis. Oh, man. I am such a fan of this P250. It is gonna be the number 8 highest float stat track. I put some Entropic Hollows from Stockholm on it, and man, I am such a fan of this P250. I think it is delightful. Look at how green it is, man. Oh my goodness. Such a fan. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. We have the Dualies 1.6. This brings us back to how the Dualies used to look. You know, back in the day, I remember shooting these things and them looking pretty similar to these. And you know what? I think for T-side, these smokeouts, they look quite nice. Nothing special, just 0.007, you know, as you do. Just picking up the cleanest basic default dualies. We got the Tech9 Icecap, and oh man, this Icecap with a good pattern. This one in particular is 971. But this Icecap with a lot of different patterns, man, it looks so clean. Such a fan of it. You put some stickers on it too. It just lights up, man. Oh, look at that. Look at that Tech9 with the Eternal Fires on the side from Antwerp and the Team Envious from Boston 2018 on the back. I am just such a big fan of this Tech9, and I think this is what I'll be rocking for quite a bit. Desert Eagle Blue Ply. This has a 5.9 in a row float. It has 3 Cloud9 hollows and 1 JT signature in hollow from Antwerp. I am a big fan of this particular, and you know what? It cost me far too much money, and it was very much worth it because in the end I have one of my favorite deagles with a very nice craft on it, with a very high float on it, and the combination is just so delectable to me. I just can't get enough. Next up, we have the Mac10 Button Masher. Now, this Mac10 in particular happens to be a controller. I am a huge fan of the controller style Mac10 here. When you shoot it, it absolutely lights up. When you reload it, you can see in particular you're putting a cartridge into it. I think that whole concept is so nice, and I think it's a slept on skin. I think more people should think about crafting on it. I think crafting on this particular looks very interesting. I happen to put 4 Chris J foils from Boston 2018 onto it. I think it looks very nice and the colors happen to match. Let's get on to the next mid-class weapon, Blue Streak. This particular is a very old PP Bison skin. Now, the reason why I'm such a big fan of this PP Bison skin is because the wear turns into this light blue color, which means that it basically is a light blue PP Bison skin, and that's it. It looks like there's a bunch of water on it, and I happen to add some more Eternal Fire Hollows from Antwerp and 1 glitter onto the mag, but I think this PP Bison goes absolutely so hard. It is so good looking, and I think more people should appreciate it in a high wear. Moving on to the next mid tier, the MP7 Neon Ply. This Neon Ply is a quad 9.7 float. It is the second highest normal. I am a huge fan of this MP7. Oh man, it just goes so hard. I have a liquid fire and eternal fire on it. I think that the colors on it are delectable and so juicy. I think that the Ply skins in a higher wear look way more saturated. I'm such a big fan of this particular. Moving on to the next mid tier, the XM14 Slipstream. Oh man, this is such a wild color, man. It's so blue, and the handle is absolutely screaming at you. Man, I'm just such a big fan of this XM114. P90 Grim. Oh man, look how green it is. That's battle scarred. It still has artwork on it, man. I can't believe it. That's a quad 9. Quad 9 with a 0.8 float cap. How is there that much artwork still left on it? That's the real question we need to ask, because this game creator put a custom wear on it so it wouldn't remove the artwork. Man, oh man, the P90 Grim is a masterclass in the battle scarred wear department. I'm such a big fan of this P90. Moving on to the next tier of weapons. Oh my goodness. Look at that scout. Just look at it. Absolutely. The creme de la creme of my scout collection. Oh my goodness. That is a 5.9 float. It has 3 MLG counter logic and 1 Katowice 2015 counter logic hollow on it. It is the number 3 highest float. I am absolutely mind blown on how they absolutely buffed this in Source 2. I am such a fan of this scout. Man, just look at it. Ooh-wee. Next up, we got the Galil Urban Rubble. This is the number 3 highest float. I am a big fan of this. I know it's a mid skin, but I am a fan of it. I think that the colors of it go very well. I think that it in a worn amount looks even better. I think that this is a very, very nice looking Galil. Moving on to the next weapon. I'm just such a big fan of the Ice Cold, and I think it looks delectable in a high float. I think if you haven't taken a look at this AK, I would absolutely take a look because it looks so good. Look at the colors, man. Just look at the colors. My AK says yo on it. I got the yo pattern AK. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a big fan of the yo Ice Cold AK. All right, moving on to the next weapon. I don't even know where to begin with the Atheris. It is absolutely my favorite op skin in the game. This is a quad 9.8 float. It is the number 4 highest float. I am such a big fan of this particular. I think the entropics on the body and the toxic foil on the scope go way too well. And I think it is not overhyped. I think it is worth the hype. I think the skin absolutely is worth every penny. And I think that you should probably actually pay more money for it. Go get the high float ones, dude. Like, look at this. Look at how good fucking this skin is, bro. In high float. It's like you keep all of the snake. It's all there. It's all there. You have the highlights on the scope. Yeah, and the stickers on it. The artist of the Atheris did a masterful job on how they did the custom wear. It is phenomenal. I would put this in the S tier category. Moving on to CT, we got Michael's Cypher for the sleeves. We got the Scarlet Chamois for the gloves. These are a .799 float. They are the number 4 highest float. I think in Battle Scarred they look way too good and vibrant. And I think they will go very well with the rest of my CT side. I think that the black laminate karambit goes all right with these gloves, but I overall think that the combo works very well with combination with the rest of the skins in my loadout. Moving on to the starting side pistol. Next up, we have the USP check engine, which came with the name tag USP Crimson Web. So I kept it because I thought it was a cheeky name tag, but it is a .59978 float. It is the number 5 highest float. I happen to scrape the stickers that were the battle scarred papers. I think it looks very good in combination with the worn check engine, and I think mixed with the chamois, it looks incredibly well. Next up, we have the P250 Visions, which I have to shout out my friend NN, who just, gave this to me. It's the number 1 highest float stat track. It's 0.6999. So that's a funny little gift he gave me. I think this pistol looks so good. It is a patina based finish, so it does not chip the paint, it just warps the color. I think it looks incredibly good. He gave it to me with the fire in the hole hollows applied already. I'm gonna keep it just the way it is, and I think this particular looks absolutely banging, man. Let's look at the colors on that. It looks so good. Next up, we have the 5.7 berries and cherries. I happen to pick this up with the sticker already pre-applied. Now, sticker prices are a little bit too much, and the price of this is a little bit too much overall. But you know what? I think the combo looks phenomenal. And I'm a huge fan of the berries and cherries. If you happen to be interested in this 5.7, I highly suggest you pick one up. Moving on to the next skin. This Desert Eagle brings me back to a time where, yes, Valve was neglecting us and the game was unplayable. But that was a different time, 10 years ago. Now we're in Source 2, and this skin still exists. It is the number 3 highest float. It is a 0.7999 float. I'm a huge fan of it. I applied all 3 of the stickers. We have 2 heart golds and 1 Australis hollow from Boston. I'm a huge fan of this particular, and I think him with the gloves look absolutely terrific. Oh my goodness. We got the Nova Hyperbeast. I am such a big fan of this Nova skin. I had to apply these Antwerp hollows to it. I felt that this skin and these stickers were meant to be. I feel it's a wonderful sticker combo. And I feel like this particular skin is just so great. If you happen to have a Nova Hyperbeast, let's go. Next up, we have the MP9 Mount Fuji. This is pattern 449. The reason why that matters is because the mountain and the moon/sun are on the back of the gun, so that it is visible on the back, which I happen to really enjoy. I think that this pattern happens to be the best. I think that these particular Paris hollows, these Red Bull OG Paris hollows, happen to be very funny looking on this Mount Fuji. I think this is a very funny craft. I'm a big enjoyer of it. Moving on to the next mid-tier weapon. Next up, we have the PP Bison Runic. This is in Stat Track. It is a quad 9.7 float. I think it's a absolutely brilliant execution of how a worn steel should look. I think that this PP Bison is absolutely great. I know it's cheesy, I know it looks like Doom, but I absolutely adore it. I think it's a great PP Bison skin. And if you are a fan of Doom, you should consider picking up one of these and adding it to your own collection. Moving on to the next mid-tier weapon. This is a relatively recent pickup. It's the MP7 Mischief. It is a quad 977 float. I think it is a very interesting skin. I think that it combined with the chamois looks very well. I'm a big fan of the teeth on it. I think it looks pretty funny. It looks like it's chewing out the bullets. I think it's pretty funny. It's a funny little MP7. Moving on to the next mid-tier weapon. The P90 Vent Rush. The saucy Baka Valorant looking ass P90. I think that this P90 is absolutely ahead of its time. I think it looks so good. I think the normal maps on this are phenomenal. I can't get enough of this, and I think that in a high wear, it really doesn't look bad. It actually looks better. It is a 0.6999. It is in Stat Track and is the number 6 currently. I'm a big fan. If you are a big fan, I'd recommend picking one up. Moving on to the next mid-tier weapon. We have the SSG Turbo Peak. one of the most interesting and nice scouts that exist. I think that it is very underrated. I think that if you enjoy drifting in real life, you'll enjoy this scout as well. I think the fact that when you shoot and you pull back and put it back in, it looks like you're shifting gears. I think that whole concept is beautifully done and very unique. Next up, we have the Hyperbeast M4A1S. This is a old school skin for me. I'm a huge fan of it. I think that the Hyperbeast on this particular looks so good. The blue on it just is so delightfully perfect. I think that it having this particular craft on it looks very, very nice. And I would definitely tell you, if you're a fan of the Hyperbeast, consider getting it in high float, because I think it looks even more vibrant. Moving on to the next weapon. Oh boy, I don't even know where to begin on this. This is the M4A4 Radiation Hazard, man. It is the number 2 highest float. The float in particular is a .799. The number 1 float is VAC Band. The number 3 float is VAC Band. This is number 2. It is my absolute creme de la creme of my collection. I am absolutely thrilled to have it, and I made this craft when Source 2 first came out. I think that these G2 foils look absolutely so crisp. And on the new model, this looks even better. Ooh, buddy. Just look at that thing. Look at that thing real quick. Look at that thing real quick. Oh man, they did such a good job with foils. Oh man, I just cannot get enough of this. Every time I use it, I enjoy it even more, man. Foils just look so good in this game. So good. Moving on to the next weapon. This is the AUG Radiation Hazard. Well, you know, we just talked about them for a 4 hour. Now we got the AUG. Oh boy, can't believe it. He's a fan of the AUG too. I happen to apply 4 Liza hollows from Antwerp. This happens to be a .5499, which is the number 10 highest float. It is the new Source 2 model. I was a fan of the model and had to pick it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the final and last skin of the Loadout Showcase. This is a .696 Op Wildfire. It is stat track. It has a G2 hollow from MLG. I am a huge fan of this skin and craft. It is the absolute mix of both worlds in both wear and the fact that it has the perfect amount of normal mapping to paint chip. I think the person who made this skin did a wonderful job in how it keeps the highlights of the scope and does not take away the stuff that you don't want them to. And it is pattern based, so that the amount of wearing on the dragon itself will change depending on the pattern. So the fact that mine is intact is pretty impeccable. I'm a huge fan of it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening.